This is going to sound impossible. But right now, at this very moment, in a place you have never been, your soulmate's parents are talking about you. Not as a passing thought, not randomly, but in a serious conversation that has your future silently attached to it. And what makes this even more intense is, you are completely unaware of it. You are living your normal day, thinking nothing is happening, believing everything is still the same. But behind the scenes, something is already shifting. And the strange part is this. At the exact same time, your parents are also sensing something. They may not have clear answers, they may not be able to explain it, but they feel it. A shift, a pressure in the atmosphere of your life. Like something is coming closer, even if they don't know what it is yet. And this is where it gets deeper, because it is not just two families thinking randomly. It is alignment beginning to form. It is unseen timing starting to activate. And Jesus is saying this very clearly. You are not being forgotten. You are being positioned. Because listen carefully. You are not being ignored by life. You are not being overlooked. You are not being delayed without reason. You are being discussed in places you cannot see, by people you have not met, for a future that is already being prepared for you. And that is why this moment feels different. Because when something is meant for you, even silence starts to change shape before reality does. You are not being ignored. You are being discussed. Listen to me carefully. Do not scroll away. Because I am speaking to you in this moment for a reason. And what I am about to reveal to you is already in motion, even if you cannot see it yet. Right now, at this very moment. In a place you have never been, in a home you have never entered. My child, your soulmate's parents are talking about you. Yes, I am allowing your name to be part of a conversation you are not physically present in, but you are spiritually connected to it. And what they do not understand is this. They are not just talking randomly. They are being guided in thoughts they cannot fully explain. Your presence, your future, your connection, is being considered in ways they never expected. And while this is happening there, I want you to understand something very important here. You are still living your normal life. You are still thinking nothing is happening. You are still assuming everything is quiet. But silence does not mean absence. Silence means preparation is hidden. Do not mistake quiet seasons as empty seasons. Because I do my deepest work when you see nothing at all. And now listen closely. Because it is not only one side being prepared. Your own parents, your own surroundings, are also being gently moved by my timing. They may not understand it, but they feel something changing. They may start asking questions about your future. They may start thinking differently about your direction in life. And they won't even know why. Because I am aligning both sides without them realizing it. Two families, two paths, two separate worlds, but one prepared connection. And I am telling you this clearly. You are not forgotten. You are not delayed. You are not being ignored. You are being positioned. What I have prepared for you is not random. It is not rushed. It is not confused. It is aligned with purpose. And even now, as you hear these words, something inside you is waking up to the truth that I have already been working behind the scenes of your life. And soon, you will start noticing small signs. Thoughts you cannot ignore. Moments that feel different. Shifts you cannot explain. And timing that feels too precise to be random. Because when I begin to align something meant for you, even silence starts changing before reality does. But what happens next is even deeper. Because what is being spoken in hidden places will soon start appearing in your real life. And when it does, you will finally understand, nothing was ever random. Listen to me closely, my child. Because what I am showing you now is the beginning of something you will not be able to ignore anymore. You are not imagining things. You are not overthinking. You are becoming aware of alignment. Right now, as you are hearing this, there are small shifts already forming in your reality. Things that look normal on the surface, but carry meaning underneath. And I want you to understand something deeply. What I begin in silence always becomes loud in reality later. Because now the alignment is not only happening in thoughts, it is beginning to reflect in life. My child, there will be moments very soon when you will feel something change inside you without any reason. A sudden thought about your future. A sudden emotional awareness. A feeling that something is about to happen. And you will try to ignore it, but it will keep coming back. Because I am preparing your awareness before I reveal your direction. Now listen carefully. While your soulmate's parents are being guided into thoughts they cannot explain, I am also preparing your path to respond to what they are discussing. You are not part of their conversation physically, but you are part of the timing I am building spiritually. And this is where it becomes deeper, because I am also preparing your soulmate. Even now, even in distance, even without awareness, their heart is being shaped for recognition. Not confusion, not chaos, not mistake, but recognition. Because when I connect two lives meant for each other, I prepare both sides equally. And that is why delays happened. That is why silence lasted. That is why nothing forced itself early. Because forced timing breaks alignment, but prepared timing completes it. And I am telling you this clearly. Something in your life is about to start moving from invisible to visible. You will notice small signs first. A repeated thought, a name you keep hearing or seeing, a strange coincidence that happens more than once, a feeling that something is closer than before. And at first, you will dismiss it, but then it will repeat, and repeat, and repeat, until you realize this is not random anymore. Because when I begin to bring two lives together, I do not announce it. I reveal it step by step. And soon, what was only a thought in hidden places will become a real moment in your physical world. And when that happens, you will understand why I made you wait. You will understand why I kept you silent in seasons. You will understand why nothing else worked out before this. Because I was not denying you anything. I was protecting what I already prepared for you. And now the timing is shifting. Quietly, but permanently. And what comes next will be the moment where you realize nothing was delayed. Everything was being aligned. Listen to me now, my child, because this is where your awareness begins to change completely. What was once hidden is now approaching visibility. What was once silent is now preparing to move. And I want you to understand something very clearly. When I bring two lives together, I do not do it suddenly. I do it through signs, timing, and repetition. Because the human heart needs recognition before it receives reality. Now listen closely. Very soon, you will begin noticing something different in your thoughts. Not confusion, but consistency. A repeated awareness that something is changing in your life. And you will not be able to explain why, but it will feel real. Because I am preparing your mind to recognize what I am aligning. And at the same time, I am also preparing the other side. Your soulmate is not remaining unchanged. Even without knowing you yet, their life is also shifting. Their thoughts are also being guided. Their future decisions are also being shaped. Because when I connect two people destined for each other, I prepare both hearts to recognize timing at the same moment. And now hear this carefully. The conversations happening in your life right now, the thoughts your parents are having, the discussions happening in other homes, none of it is random anymore. It is alignment reaching maturity. You may not see it fully yet, but you are closer than you have ever been before. And this is why certain things in your life stopped working, not because you were rejected, but because I was redirecting your path. Every delay had purpose. Every silence had instruction. Every closed door had protection. Because I was not preparing just any relationship. I was preparing recognition. And recognition cannot be forced. It must be ready on both sides. Now listen carefully. Very soon, something small will happen in your life. It will not look big at first. It may feel like a coincidence, a message, a thought, a reminder, a sudden emotional shift. But it will not leave your mind easily, because it will repeat. And repetition is how I confirm alignment. And slowly, you will begin to realize something you once thought was far away is actually getting closer. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but steadily. And this is the moment where many people miss what I am doing, because it looks too normal to notice. But I am telling you, this is not normal timing. This is divine alignment unfolding. And soon, you will look back at this season and understand why nothing else worked before this moment. Because I was not delaying your story, I was finalizing it. And what comes next will be the stage where invisible preparation starts becoming visible reality. Listen to me now, my child, because this is the moment everything starts to make sense. Not all at once, but piece by piece. What you once called confusion, I was calling preparation. What you once called delay, I was calling alignment. What you once called silence, I was using as construction. And now, that construction is reaching its final stage. Very soon, something will happen that will feel small at first, but it will stay in your mind longer than expected. A moment, a sign, a repeated thought, a name you were not looking for, but suddenly cannot ignore. And this is not coincidence. This is confirmation beginning. Because when I bring two lives together, I first make them aware of timing before I reveal connection. And now listen carefully. You will start noticing emotional awareness rising. Not sadness, not fear, but awareness that something in your life is changing direction. And even though you cannot see the full picture yet, your spirit will recognize the shift before your mind does. Because the mind needs proof, but the spirit recognizes alignment. And I am telling you this clearly now. You are not approaching randomness. You are approaching recognition. The person I have prepared for you is also being prepared for you. Even now, even in distance, even without awareness, their life is being guided into position. Not forced, not rushed, but aligned. And one day soon, you will realize something powerful, that every delay you questioned was actually protecting the timing of this exact moment. Because if it had happened earlier, it would not have lasted. If it had happened faster, it would not have aligned. But what I prepare is not temporary. It is intentional. And now the shift is becoming visible. Slowly, but permanently. And when you finally step into what I prepared for you, you will not ask, why did I wait so long? You will say, I understand now. Because everything I allowed you to go through was shaping you for recognition. Not confusion, not loss, not abandonment, but alignment. And now hear me. This is no longer a season of waiting. This is a season of revealing. And what comes next in your life will confirm everything I have been preparing you for in silence. Listen carefully. This is the moment where everything you've been feeling finally starts to make sense. Not because something suddenly changes, but because you finally understand what was happening all along. You thought you were waiting, but you were actually being shaped. You thought nothing was moving, but everything was being prepared. You thought silence meant delay, but silence was actually alignment in progress. And now the truth becomes clear. Nothing in your life was ever random. Not the people who left. Not the doors that closed. Not the seasons that felt empty. Not the moments you questioned yourself. None of it was wasted. Because while you were waiting for answers, life was quietly building direction. While you were asking when, timing was already answering, now is not yet ready. And this is the part most people never realize. What is meant for you does not arrive when you are desperate for it. It arrives when you are ready to recognize it. Because connection without preparation becomes confusion. But connection with timing becomes clarity. And somewhere in this process, you changed too. Without noticing it, you became stronger, calmer, more aware, more patient than you used to be. That wasn't accidental. That was formation. Because what is coming into your life next requires the version of you that you became through everything you survived, not the version you were before. And when the right timing finally aligns, you will not feel confusion. You will feel recognition, like something inside you says, this feels familiar, even if I'm seeing it for the first time. And that feeling, that quiet certainty, that deep internal understanding, is how alignment reveals itself in real life. Not loudly, but clearly. And when that moment comes, you will understand something powerful. You were never being delayed. You were being directed. Everything that felt like a pause was actually preparation. Everything that felt like silence was actually construction. Everything that felt like distance was actually timing protecting the outcome. And now, as you reach the end of this message, something subtle begins to shift inside you. Not in the world, but in awareness. A realization that your story is not random and never was. Because the truth is simple. What is meant for you does not miss you. And what is aligned with your life does not stay hidden forever. It always arrives. At the right time. In the right way. When everything is finally ready. And this is where your waiting ends in understanding. Even if the journey is still unfolding. Because now you know, nothing was lost. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was accidental. It was all leading here. To this awareness. To this moment. To this understanding. And whatever comes next in your life, you will no longer see it the same way again. Because now you understand. The pattern behind the silence. Before this ends, take this with you. Not as fear, not as fantasy, but as perspective. Life doesn't always show you what it is doing in real time. Most of the time, it stays quiet. Not because nothing is happening, but because everything is still forming. And the moments that felt empty, the pauses that felt confusing, the seasons that felt slow, were never empty at all. They were being used to shape something you could not see yet. Because in real life, meaningful things don't usually arrive loudly. They arrive gradually, quietly, step by step, until one day, you look back and understand it all at once. And that is why patience is not wasted time. It is preparation time. So if you're in a phase right now where nothing feels clear, don't assume nothing is happening. Sometimes clarity comes after the process, not during it. Keep moving. Keep growing. Keep becoming the version of yourself that your future requires. Because what is meant for you does not require force. It requires alignment. And when timing meets readiness, things naturally find their place. People, opportunities, connections, understanding. Not because you chased them harder, but because everything finally lined up. So don't rush your story. Don't panic in the silence. Don't assume delay means denial. Because sometimes what feels like not yet is actually almost ready. And when it finally unfolds, you won't call it coincidence. You'll call it clarity. That's the real message. Not prediction, not fear. Just understanding that everything unfolds in its own timing. And what's meant for you will always find its way to you. In the right form, at the right time, when you are ready to receive it. If you feel like this message connected with you in any way, backhand index pointing right, just comment, I receive this below. I want to see how many people are actually feeling this shift in their life.